Hello everyone and welcome to some MiSTer FPGA news. In this episode we will be talking about support for the retro shooter Lightguns, the Capcom CPS3 hardware and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 hardware, a more accurate Game Boy Advance core, and more. Also check out my channel sponsor MiSTer Add-ons, a place where you can get all your MiSTer needs, things like full MiSTer setups, accessories, I/O boards, and more. Now let's get to the news. If you are interested in Atari 8-bit computer updates, then you should check out the Atari 8-bit computers thread on the MiSTer FPGA forums. User Woj there has been constantly updating the core, posting test builds that adds new features and fixes bugs. I highly suggest you follow that forum thread if you are a fan of these computers. After releasing Downloader version 2.0, the Ypsilon also pushed another update, bringing Downloader now to version 2.1. It's even faster now, and the Ypsilon is still finding more optimizations to improve speed and maintenance. Here's what's new. The time measurement shown at the end of the run now includes the time spent importing modules, making it much closer to real time. The loading of the internal store now also happens in parallel, which makes the process a bit faster in short runs. Database processing was optimized by removing support for some specific deprecated paths. The default value for downloader thread limits was adjusted from 20 to 3. This will improve the efficiency of short runs. A bug that affected new users or users with custom launchers was fixed. Another bug that prevented PNG images from rendering correctly was also fixed. The reboot wait, which was significantly reduced in Downloader 2.0, is now longer for Linux updates to prevent issues. However, it is still shorter than in Downloader version 1.8 for this scenario. Thanks again to the Ypsilon for making our updates so much easier. Thanks to user the Jesus Fish on Discord, I was notified about Hotego wanting to give us an update on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 and CPS3 hardware. These are the two major targets that Hotego's team wants to tackle in 2025. That doesn't mean other things won't be worked on, just that these are the high-profile items. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 is an amazing beat-em-up. I never actually played the arcade game, but played the Super NES version a lot. Getting to enjoy the arcade game will also be a great treat to have on the MiSTer FPGA. The only game on the CPS3 hardware that I've played is Street Fighter 3. It's an awesome 2D fighter that continued the legacy left by Street Fighter 2. The CPS3 also hosted other 2D fighters, and the 2D animations and sprite work for that system is breathtaking. I really wish Capcom had developed some beat-em-ups and shooters on that platform with the same art style they used for the fighting games. But it was a time when 3D was taking over, so 2D games were taking a back seat at the time. Developer DAR FPGA recently released a core of the Jaleco arcade game Naughty Boy. The goal of the game is to reach the top of the level, all while avoiding enemies. You also get rocks to throw at enemies to defend yourself. It looks like you have to install this core manually because I just updated my MiSTer and it is not showing up. But the GitHub page has everything you need to get it installed on your MiSTer FPGA. If you're a fan of the STV arcade game Batman Forever, then there is some good news. In this post by Anonymous, we are told that the STV arcade core can now play the game with sound. It was bootable before with bugs, but now the game has sound and the kick button works. The STV core is still a work in progress and hasn't been officially released. It was originally part of the Sega Saturn core, but it was spun off into its own core in order to have the Saturn-specific components in the Saturn core and the STV-specific components in the STV core. You can grab the latest MRA files from the post by Anonymous, and I'll also provide a link to the unstable build in the description. In addition to updating the downloader script to version 2.1, the Ypsilon also released a new version of the Update All script. Now at version 2.2, there are some pretty substantial changes. To make the self-updating process safer and more robust, Update All now always adds a database to your downloader.ini file that will be used for fetching files related to the Update All process. Also, the Arcade Organizer tool has been reworked and is now part of the Update All codebase. This will make execution a bit quicker and will solve long-standing bugs. And the Arcade Organizer tool now uses the arcade database that has just been included in the official MiSTer development organization. Another update now lets you optionally activate Spark 2K06's alternate MiSTer main firmware. This firmware implements additional features like integrated support for Zapperoo, the ability to add custom loading screens on a per-game basis, new MGL tags, and more. The BIOS database for Update All just added the Saturn BIOS, so this will make things easier for the Saturn core. There are also speed improvements and fixes to Update All. Future releases will speed up Update All even more, but for now, if you want to enjoy the speed improvements from the downloader script, the Epsilon says to just run downloader.sh, since that script runs 3 to 4 times faster than Update All, and you'll be getting the same updates anyway. There are also more changes and details to the changes I discussed on the Epsilon's public Patreon post, so check it out if you want more details. Like the downloader script, Update All is also being developed by the Epsilon, and thanks to his work, we save a lot of time setting up and keeping our MiSTer FPGA setups up to date. So, if you can, please support him on Patreon to show the appreciation for the work he does for our community. I did some preliminary testing with the MiSTer FPGA using the retro shooter Lightguns, and I posted a video in my other YouTube channel where I talk about things more casually. The support for these Lightguns is still a work in progress because it requires an unstable build of the MiSTer Linux distribution in order for them to be properly detected. I was experiencing some issues at the beginning with the Lightguns, but eventually fixed them. So if you want more details, check out my video on them. Remember, this is just early testing that I'm doing. I am going to create a more detailed video about these Lightguns when used with the MiSTer FPGA. So a test version of Robert Pipe's more accurate Game Boy Advance core is available to be downloaded. Currently, Robert is rewriting the core to significantly increase its accuracy. The current core couldn't pass all tests from a Game Boy Advance testing suite, but the new core now passes all those tests. Unfortunately, these accuracy improvements mean that some cool features will have to be removed from the core. But you'll be happy to know that there are no plans to phase out the current core, so it will live alongside the new core. On Discord, Robert told us what is new with the core, and here's what he said. Core clock dropped from 100 MHz to 16 MHz. All major modules, CPU, PPU, DMA, and others, are now running with original cycle-based behavior. The cartridge interface is completely new. SD-RAM now replicates the cart with both cart-ROM and save. External WRAM is now part of the internal FPGA block RAM to fulfill low latency requirements. Many timing accuracy tests are now fulfilled. You're probably also wondering what has been taken out of this core. So here's that. Fast forward, turbo, rewind, and high-res rendering are gone forever. Cheats and color shading are currently not in the test build, but will come back at some point in time. So if you want fast forward, turbo, rewind, and high-res rendering, you'll have to use the current core that will not be as accurate. If you're trying out this core, here are some issues that you should know about. There are still bugs. It's a test core, so random crashes and corrupt save files are always possible. The core name is still GBA, so you might get conflicts with the old Game Boy Advance core settings, save games, or save states. Robert said that it should be fairly compatible, but be warned. Video out is not yet synchronized with reset, so either use VSync adjust 0, or you have to accept one sync loss on reset, new ROM download, or save state loading. But there should be no sync loss while playing. So that's it for this episode. Please also try to support Sorge, the maintainer of the MiSTer project, and other MiSTer developers and contributors on support platforms such as Patreon and Ko-fi. Your hard work allows us to enjoy this amazing project. I also provided links to all my sources in the description. Make sure to also check out RetroRGB.com to see my MiSTer news videos in blog form and to get more retro-related content. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like, and if you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button and this bell icon so you can get notified of future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you next time.